What's going on, guys? It's your boy Parag. Day 5, 6. Just kidding. It's day 19 in this bit. The boy is ready. Woke up at like 5:30. I don't know why. I went to bed at I think fell asleep at like 11:30ish or like 12. Woke up at like 5:30. I don't know why. So I'm feeling kind of sleepy deepy. Let's get on to it, shall we? If you want to skip to the workout, today was abs and stretching. Usually I do legs after back day. However, I am playing basketball today with my friends, so I can't do legs. I won't be gassed. So today was just stretching abs. Tomorrow will be leg day. If you want to skip to the workout and skip all me talking about questions and breakfast, etc., go over there. That like timestamp. Anyways, for breakfast, sunlight. I forgot to take a picture of the creatine, but I did have a cup of creatine. I don't forget. But for breakfast, we had a scoop and a half of oatmeal, milk. Oh my God, I was thinking of milk. Okay, scoop and a half of oatmeal, milk, protein, 1 scoop of protein powder. We got one spoon of peanut butter, some coffee beans in that bit. Stir it all up, yummy, yummy. Then on the side, we got apple, avocado for the fiber, and then water. So that's all that for today. For the outdoor activity, you know what? I was gonna be like, yo, I was just playing basketball and that's it. I still went on the walk, okay? Still went on a 45-minute walk, not too shabby. Now let's get on to the question of the day. I am excited because we're finally about to finish this book. And I'm not gonna lie, if I'm gonna give my opinion on this book, I understand most of it. No, actually, no, I don't. Anyways, question of the day. Yesterday's question was, what do you want most in life? Now, the next question is, what do you value the most in life? What do you value the most in life? I would say I value... Is it like selfish to say that I value myself the most? Like I value about my well-being, my character, my, morals, etc., etc. And then second, probably be like, family for sure. I value my family, my friends, my relationship with them. But damn, what do you value the most in life? I would say, yeah, okay. Because we already know, mom, dad, parents, family, and friends. That's obvious. But I think for me, the most thing I value in my life would be my own character. And like, I never want to act or say something that I myself wouldn't approve of. Because I'm not gonna lie, there has been some time like I'm hanging out with like other friends and like I be like talking and like I like swap my face just to like fit in with them, but I gotta stick to myself. So I would say I value my true character the most. Comment down below what you value most. Fine shit. Ni hao, fine shit. Sorry, I'm not racist. Just kidding. All right, guys. Can you see? Okay, we're on page 140, guys. Holy moly. Damn, there's a lot of writing. Okay. Let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. Okay. Huston Smith, the late dean of the World Religion Scholars, was an early fan of Zen mind, beginner's mind. His preface to the book was included when it went paperback. Expanding on that, he'd written about DT and Sun Ryu back then. Huston said it over the phone. In my introduction to Zen mind, beginner's mind, I allude to all my experience with Suzuki Roshi. Anyway, to be affiliated with Suzuki Roshi is a joy, as you understand. I wish I had more to add, but I remember nothing but the wonderful aura. The peace and the presence of the man has impact upon me. His contributions was impressive. On the two Suzukis, Daitsu's accomplished a major achievement by bringing in Zen and, in a way, Mahayana Buddhism to America, not single-handedly, because there was I don't know these names of these places, Nyogen Sunzaki in LA, and the first Zen Institute in New York with Mary Farkas. But as far as the general public was concerned, almost that, and then Sunryu Suzuki comes in a different mode. Because far from the public figure that Daisuke was, Sunryu was quiet, low-key, bro, they're using low-key in a book now, come on, bro. Low-key, profile, and I do think that the two Suzukis had the most impact. I think of them as complementing each other in a very wonderful way. Houston's comparison reminds me of how once a bus in New York City, when someone asked if the DT Suzuki, Sunryu replied, he's the great Suzuki, I'm the little Suzuki. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, like this part of the book, they're like low-key just like glazing each other, I'm not gonna lie. Like they're just glazing like this book, which is understandable. I would too. John Nelson, a professor in the Department of Theology and the Religious Studies at the University of San Francisco, who teaches classes on Zen and Buddhism, writes, "What caught my attention was the combination of person, voice, and perspective. The person looked at me from the back cover as if challenging my assumptions about Zen." That guy right there. About Zen and the reality in general. His voice on the page had a unique way of expressing key ideas and explaining the commonplace so that it took on a new significance. Zen was not restricted to meditation, but premented all dimensions of life and consciousness. To a young man like myself, in Kansas, who was sorely disillusioned by Vietnam, race and culture conflicts, and Watergate, the book offered an entirely new perspective on reality and human behavior. Next page. Stephen Tipton, a Suzuki student who teaches sociology and religion at Emory University, wrote, "For all of the genius of its culture and canonical translation, the practical wisdom of this book arises from the communal creation, bred by teacher and students listening and talking to each other in the course of sitting, walking, and working together every day. Through the dance of this dialogue embodying a way of life reborn over eons and expressed with poetic grace, comes a true, original, and compassionate voice so close at hand it can open our eyes and touch our hearts." The popularity of this book is not so much because people dwell on how great Suzuki was, but because he conveys to readers that they are great. He has confidence that you, whoever you are, can understand Zen, Buddhism, reality, truth yourself. I've interviewed and talked with hundreds of people about their experience and memories of Suzuki. And over, so many have revealed that he, and usually only he, completely understood and appreciated them. And this connection he had with people in person's mind comes through almost like magic in Zen mind, beginner's mind. Read from the hundreds of reviews at Amazon.com. Bro, they're just glazing this book. I understand it though. Well, at the end, they're glazing it. I think they're most telling because they were written not by experts assigned to compose reviews, but by readers inspired to share their impression. Buddhism had long been established within Asian American communities. When Suzuki arrived in San Francisco to serve as the priest for Japanese Americans at Sokoji, the city Soto Zen Temple. But only a handful of people in the West, such as poet Gary Snyder, had worked with a teacher and grown deeply involved with Zazen. At the time, Buddhism had been moving gradually from something lofty to admire from afar into something practical that one could integrate into one's life. The Light of Asia, a biography of the Buddha published in London in 1879. Damn, that's way back. And had sold over 1 million copies and made up into a movie in 1928. D.T. Suzuki and Alan Watts' brilliant books were widely read by seekers as well as scholars. Dwight Goddard's Buddhist Bible inspired Jack GOOOOOOOOO and his Beat colleagues, and they inspired many others. Indispensable sutras, early Buddha texts, and commentary on them became available through scholars such as Edward Cones. I don't know who these people are, but shout out to all these people. They're probably way smarter than me. Okay, Zen Flesh, Zen Bones by Paul Reps and Nyogo Senzaki, a retelling of classic koans. Koans is also a translation for Chinese stories, just a FYI. Let me peep here. Such skillful and devoted writing over decades had set the stage for what was to follow. People diving with body and mind into the stream of Buddhism. Buddhist publishing was turning towards books on practice. Enlightenment was being presented as a real possibility, close enough to almost touch it. In this vein, Philip Kalup's landmark, Three Pillars of Zen, had come out in 1965, and in 1969, Chogyam Tupra's Meditation in Action added a Tipton turn. Sunryu Suzuki brought the Soto emphasis that enlightenment and practice were one. Rick Fields nailed it with the first sentence in his chapter, The 60s, where there is a practice, there is enlightenment. This above all was the message Sunryu Suzuki Roshi brought to America. And what is practice? As Suzuki said in his book, instead of having some object of worship, we just concentrate on the activity we are doing in each moment. Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind begins with Suzuki saying that, hold up, next page. The goal of practice is always to keep our beginner's mind limitless and ready for anything. This Eastern tabula rasa is not, however, a blank starting point. It is the point. This is the mind of purity, open to things as they are, or things as it is, as he sometimes said. Suzuki, first teacher Gyokujun, so on, stressed the importance of beginner's mind. So had Dojin. I'm reminded of the well-known D.T. Suzuki story of the Zen master who poured tea into the overflowing cup of a visiting professor to illustrate that his guest's mind was so full of assumptions and opinions that there was no room to learn anything. It's a perennial spiritual teaching found in the various expressions worldwide, such as 14th century Dominican monk Meister Erkens, be willing to be a beginner every single morning. Okay, that I agree with. Beginner's mind is the key to awakening to big mind. A favorite term of Suzuki's, big mind, the absolute, our true nature, not small mind, the product of our silly idea of self. One of Sunryu Suzuki's closest disciples, Silas Hoadley, remembers Suzuki saying in the early 60s, "I've come to destroy your mind." Pause. Silas realized that the mind targeted for annihilation was the ego, the small mind a delusion to begin with, but he said it was just a chilling statement. Suzuki recalled how he and his disciples were losing their beginner's mind in their teens, through innocently seeing Zen as good, special, as a means to gain something. He warned about the perils of being attached to any idea, including that of beginner's mind. We can thank Marion Derby's Weisberg, also known as Marion Mountain, for putting together the first draft of this book. As Richard Baker notes in his introduction, she also helped to break the veritable taboo against recording Suzuki's lectures, which were thought of as only for the moment and the people at hand. Suzuki said, was passed on mind to mind. No doubt that's right, but as he always used to say, it's not always so. After 6 years in America, Suzuki English had greatly improved. With his openness, beginner's mind, he come to know his host country and his students more deeply. The time was right for him to begin to leave a record of what he sought to share. We also have Marion's father to thank for asking a question while driving Suzuki from Los Altos to San Francisco. He asked Suzuki what his personal ambition in life was, and Suzuki, surely because he was not talking to a student of his, said, "I'd like to write a book." When her father passed this on to Marion, she took it seriously. She talked to Suzuki about putting together a book from the lectures she taped. He agreed. At about the same time, his students in San Francisco likewise began to record his lectures. On what he said before that time, we have accounts of some 30 lectures, many just fragments based on notes, but from July of 1965 to his final season late in 1971, we now have over 400 partial complete lecture transcripts with the audio for more than 280. We're still finding tapes and transcripts not included in the known archive of his talks. Sadly, all but 2 of the tapes from the Zen Mind Beginner's Mind lectures were lost. Okay. Although this book contains lectures from the earliest of the Suzuki's recording talks, they hold well in comparison to those that follow. Joseph Galowski, a Zen practitioner and professor of earth and planetary sciences at the University of New Mexico, has studied and worked with the Suzuki lecture archive. He remarked that these mid-60s talks from Los Altos are, to him, the most clear and concise of all of them. With that warm, wise way of talking about the Dharma that has become the hallmark of Suzuki Roshi's teaching. Rinzai, Zen priest Ido Shimano, who in 1965 founded the New York Zen Studies Society, proudly showed me his autographed first edition of Zen Mind Beginner's Mind, and with a nostalgic smile said, "I consider Suzuki Roshi not only as one of the great patriarchs of Zen in America, but also I consider myself as one of his hidden students. I tend to be arrogant. His humility was a great teaching for me." Another Zen teacher who emphasized rigorous practice with koans, Tazen Maizumi, founder of the Zen Center of Los Angeles, said of Suzuki and his legacy, "No one can tell you about the past. What's important is not what happened or what didn't happen back then. What's important is what we have now. Even before this century, all kinds of priests and Zen tradition came to America. We don't really know why, but until he came, no one started anything that lasted. After him, so much had happened. That's what I appreciate most." In 2000, Weatherhill brought out a new edition, as with the first one made little of it. Richard Baker, whom Suzuki designated a literar executor of his book, corrected a few misunderstandings from his introduction. There was a couple mistakes in the chapter too. One being said that Suzuki had, with customary absent-mindedness, attributed the sun-faced Buddha, moon-faced Buddha story to Yumen rather than Mazu. Okay. No one caught it in time or did anything about it for 30 years. I understand that Japanese translator took Suzuki's task for him in that moment. It didn't do well in Japanese. A new Japanese translator published by Sagha in 2010, however, has been doing much better, prompting them in 2014 to bring out a translation of Shambhala Zen is right here, teaching stories and idokiets of Sunryu Suzuki, followed by translations of other books by or about him. He's been regarded by the Soto Zen establishment in Japan and as overrated in the West, possibly because he acted on his own, not within or through their system, of which he was quite critical. But that resistance seems to be thawing. Fred Harriman, a brilliant translator I worked with, whom I regard as an expert on things Japanese, says that in time they will inevitably come to recognize Shunryu Suzuki in his homeland, because he did something very important to them. He brought something completely Japanese to the West and successfully planted it there. As Mazumi pointed out, we don't really know what happened in the past, but as I see it, a team of people headed their highest angels to create this book. Marion Derby came up with the manuscript titled Beginner's Mind, in which she had minimally edited some of the lectures she recorded. Suzuki suggested she pass the manuscript on to Baker. She gave it to him in March of 1967, just as Tasajari was prepping for the first practice period. When he finally read it in the following fall, he agreed it was good material for a book. After more work busy with Zen Center's growth, and after fundraising efforts, he turned for help to Trudy Dixon, a devoted Suzuki student who had worked with Baker to publish SFZC, what's that? Windbell's periodical. After studying philosophy at Wesley and UC Berkeley, she agreed, even though she was married with 2 young children and was dealing with breast cancer. Damn. The result was a close collaboration. Dixon and Baker would each meet Suzuki to clarify what he meant. The last page. In particular passages, and they would also meet together to discuss how to best express his meaning. Dixon devoted the last working energy of her life to this book, honing the language, organization, the talks into 3 sections, and deciding on the quotations to head them. As she was dying, she continued to sit zazen until it became reclining zazen, and finally laying down zazen. She remembered for her radiant intelligent spirit and courage. Damn. A rest in peace. In October of 1968, at Suzuki's request, Baker sailed for Japan to further study Zen and the culture it was wrapped in there. He went with his wife, daughter, and the newly completed manuscript. In Tokyo, he would find the publisher. Before me is the unedited transcript of a lecture that Suzuki gave in Los Altos on November 11, 1965. A sentence in it reads, "In beginner's mind, we have many possibilities, but in expert mind, there is not much possibility." That right there, it's basically saying, like, when you're doing something and like you think that you're an expert, or like you have like a mindset of like, oh, like I already know this, like I got it in the bag, that limits your growing potential. Because if you instead enter it with like a oh, I'm like new at this, like let me just learn, like you have more of like a learning ability when you enter or do something and you have your mindset as a beginner. Because if you're an expert and you're going through the motions, like there's not much room to like improve on type shit. In the book, through various stages of editing that became the often quoted, "In the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, but in the expert there are few." The message is unchanged, but it reads better. I read Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, Suzuki said once, to see how my students understand me. On the day when the book arrived, Suzuki looked one over, made light of it, hung out a while, and went with his wife back upstairs to their rooms. Okay. That's it, guys. That's the book. It's now finished. Acknowledgements, all that good stuff. Hey. Damn, Sunryu Suzuki, he passed away. It didn't even say when he passed away. No, 1971. And guys, book is complete. I would rate the book, I would say it's pretty good, but I think halfway through the book I started to like melt down a bit, because I'm just like, man, like they're low-key like saying, they're low-key saying like the same topic, but they're just saying it in a different way, you know? Like I think like the whole gist of this book is like living moment by moment. And I said this in the past like episodes, living moment by moment will cure everything. But hey, thank you guys for watching the reading section. Let's get on to the gym workout. And guys, tomorrow we start with now this shit is mad long. It looks like a textbook. So we're gonna be reading 5 pages instead of 10, because if I read 10, bro, the video's gonna be like almost an hour. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's time for the workouts. Say it with me. Okay, workout. Doing some stretching. I'm gonna say it again. I got a big yacht. Let's not hide away from the fact. Anyways, stretching out my glutes. Big pause. Very big pause, but hey, just holding it up, make sure everything's all loose. My shit be tight, bro. Pause. We're doing some groin stretches. Leaning forward, doing some butterfly. Dude, every time I look at this, it's so doing some butterflies. Now we're doing some. Yeah, dude, this shit was very tight, bro. I was trying to like hold it, like I was like tapping it, but like if I try holding it for more, that was burning, bro. You can see me, bro. It was really burning. But hey, we're going through the motion. We're stretching, making sure that everything is all loose. Before I play ball today, I will be doing some more dynamic stretching, but for now, just doing static because I got an 8-hour shift, so it's not looking so good. Anyways. Doing some more stretching. This time both feet out. Now we're doing, what is this? Oh, we're doing this stretch. This is good for like your hips and really just unlocking everything. Bro, I had like minimal sleep today, so man was yawning through it, but yo, I gotta go through it. Next leg, not too shabby. If you guys have sciatica at any point in your life, definitely do that stretch. Okay, now we're doing some 90-90 just to get the hips loose and strong. If y'all see him on their phone, it is League of Legends. So yeah. Anyways, next workout or next stretching activity will be calves. Yep, just gotta make sure the calves are all loose, making sure it's all loose and flexible and ready to go through some jumping. But that's gonna be later today. I got work from 11 to 7. Honestly, I don't want to work, but I need money. And then okay, pause on this. But this is I gotta get. It's cat and cow, bro. It works. You lower back. Okay, now we're doing some. This is the pigeon stretch. I should definitely get a better angle because this is kind of like a not good angle, but you get the motion just like laying down on your foot. I mean, on your leg, just like you stretch it out. And then now we're doing like full body stuff. Starting off with just like get my lower back loosened up, doing some arms, stretching out shoulders, doing some. Yeah, I was yawning, bro. I was dead. And then doing some lower back. Hey. Now we're doing some, I think it's like 10 toe touches I do here or some shit. But hey, doing some toe touches. One thing, guys, as you get older, don't lose flexibility. Okay, that's one thing that you need to have in life. And now we're doing some, I call these star touches because the way you look is like a star. So doing some star touches. Now we just gotta get down low. And now finish off with just some knee raises and then some hip pulls as well. Yep, pull. Yep. Hey. Okay, now. Onto the ab workout, doing some sit-ups. I was actually I was plowing through this. Like it was actually pretty easy, but then like after past like 15, bro, it started burning a lot, and I was dying. So I ain't gonna lie. Next workout, boom, cycling abs. You know what I'm saying? This time I was burning, bro. Abs, it was burning for me, and then we end off the workout with some side planks. Some light, left side, right side, guys. That's the ab workout for today, and. Boom! It's your boy, looking pretty deezed. Actually, no, I'm not. But hey, that's the photo for today. Feeling good, looking good. I don't feel bloated, honestly, so that's good as well. Let's go on to the lunch, shall we? Okay, for breakfast we had some noodles that I had a little bit, as y'all can see by the portion, but I had like a little bit of some noodles, some couscous salad with some beans and some fish. Overall, it's pretty good. And the noodles actually had some beef in it, or some pork. I mean, shout out to my dad. He actually got this from like a store. It's pretty good, but it's a little too early, so I didn't eat a lot of it. And then for the dinner, kablawi, literally same meal, kind of, but we got some greens in there, couscous salad. Oh no, that's quinoa salad, isn't it? Oh, am I saying the quinoa salad? Then up on the top, we got some beef curry that my mom made. Really good. As y'all can see, I zoomed in a lot, but I'm actually eating on smaller plates. So it may look full, but guys, trust me, the plates are smaller, so not eating that much. But hey, thank you guys for watching the video. It's been your boy, Parag. Day 19. We finally finished the Zen book, and now it's time to elevate our minds with emotions with the new book we have. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the video. Subscribe, follow, like, share it. Spread love and positivity, yo. Don't be hating. I love you.